Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to this video. I recently had the opportunity to grow my business. Which business is that? My mobile DNA business. So, this is your first time seeing my video. I want to say thank you for stopping in. Welcome in. My name is Ebony Kiana, and I'm a nurse entrepreneur here in the San Antonio, Texas area. Um, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and I have been in the medical field for about 28 years now. The past 11 of those years have been as a nurse. I'm now, and it's nurse encompasses both LPN, LVN, depending on what side of the globe you're on, and RN. So I've been an LPN for 11 years, and now I am finally back in school doing the LPN to RN bridge so that I can grow my business. One of those businesses that I have is my mobile DNA business that I started here in San Antonio, Texas. And you may wonder how, me being a nurse, how do I get into DNA? Um, it's a part of the human body. We all have DNA. And I became burnt out, was tired of the clocking in, clocking out. I'm getting older. And I want to be able to live life on my terms. I'm sure you've heard that saying before, and it's real because for as long as I have been working, I started working probably when I was 18. Um, and I went to college the first time, got my associate's degree. I'm trying to think back because time goes by fast. My middle child is 27, so 28 years. Yeah. So 97, I graduated from college and I got my associate's degree as a medical assistant. And my first job was at a hospital as a diagnostic tech. So that was in the laboratory. I was able to do specimen processing. I was able to do phlebotomy, which is drawing blood. Specimen processing is processing the specimens in the laboratory that comes throughout the hospital, be it on the floor where someone is admitted or down in the emergency room. So anywhere from blood samples, urine samples, stool samples, semen samples, biopsies, you name it. And so I processed those. I also was trained when I was in school in EKGs. So the lab and the EKG department had blended in together. And so that's really when I started my journey with learning about what comes out of the body, sputum, spinal fluid, pus from a wound, whatever, and how they culture it, incubate it, which means to heat it up and cook it and see what bacteria, what grows, and then looking at it under a microscope. So I was not the one that was looking at it under a microscope, staining it and all of that stuff. I was the one that would streak the plates and set everything up and put them in the cooker or the oven so that the lab technician or the microbiologist would get it out and check it at, 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, whatever, and do their thing. I was really interested in that, looking at things under a microscope, things that you can't see with the naked eye. So I was able to grow in my profession, my job duties as a medical assistant, even from working at Planned Parenthood, working at family practice, being a medical assistant for two heart and lung surgeons for about 10 years before I relocated here to San Antonio, Texas, because my mother moved here. And then I was able to go to school and get my license as a licensed practical nurse or licensed vocational nurse. LPNs, LVNs are nurses as well. We're not registered nurses, but we work under a registered nurse. And we are able to do a lot of the same things that RNs can do. It's just some major things, major medications, procedures, things like that, that we're not able to do either starting out at all or either on our own. For example, with blood, If a patient needs to have a blood transfusion, it's out of our scope of practice to hang the blood and the saline and start running it through the patient and monitoring them for the first 15 minutes. Monitoring for a reaction, anything that changes in temperature, heart rate, rash, skin, cognition, how they think, things like that. Any reaction, any slightest bit of reaction, by law and by training, a registered nurse is better equipped because of their training to handle that. So LPNs, LVNs, after that first initial 15 minutes, because if a person is going to have a reaction to blood, it's, blood products, plasma, platelets, anything like that, packed red blood cells, it usually happens within that first 15 minutes. 16 to the 2-3 hours it takes for that blood to be transfused. As long as the patient doesn't have a reaction within that first 15 minutes, we take over. So that's basically, without getting deep into it. But I was able to increase my earnings, my skill set, my education, and make a pretty good life for myself and my family. I always wanted to be an RN. Life happens, and some things happened in my life, and it kind of delayed. But here I am, 11 years of nursing experience under my belt. I'm finally able to go back to school to complete my RN. And I have so many things that I'm excited about being able to do as an RN, even with my nurse writing business, my side hustle. That's another video. I'm creating multiple streams of income. I would like to have 30, but I'm starting out with 10 strong. And then also being able to help others, regardless to what your profession is. I just happen to be medically, inclined, and my background is medical, but it doesn't matter what your background is. If you're interested in creating multiple streams of income, hit me up. But why I was mentioning the lab is because I became fascinated with DNA. I've actually sent my saliva off to 23andMe. So, and this is not sponsored, but I wanted to see what my DNA makeup was, because growing up, I know that my mom, my grandmother, my great grandmother are Cherokee Indian. But I wanted to know what else. I mean, that's my mom's side. My father's side of the family, they're not Cherokee. I cannot remember what, but they're Indians as well. But I was curious. So sent my saliva off, got the analysis back, and was very interested in what showed up. I mean, knowing where I get my eyes from, my cheekbones. I thought it was my great grandmother, but it went deeper than that. So that intrigued me. In my jobs, I've taken various specimens from patients, and DNA was one of them. And I was a fan of the Maury Povich shows, a fan of Judge Lauren Lake, the paternity court, and seeing how important it is to know your paternal connections as far as health, um, background, what you're susceptible to, things like that. Aside from, who's related to who, um, but just being able to take care of a patient, being able to take care of yourself, knowing what you are exposed to or prone to, that's where that DNA comes into play. So I took a course to get me acclimated on the administrative side of how you run a DNA business, because hands-on drawing blood, swabbing, I already have experience in that. And it opened up my eyes to a whole world of possibilities. Is endless. So I am working towards fully being self-employed with my multiple streams of income and moving out of bedside nursing. And in starting up my DNA business, it's called Priority Mobile DNA, nurse owned and operated. I had the opportunity to collect a specimen from someone that passed away in 2022. Now, let me tell you, I've done post-mortem care. If a patient dies on my shift, you guys are about to hear my dog bark because my husband's home. Hopefully she'll stay quiet. But I have not seen or dealt with a body up close and personal when it comes to collecting specimens. So the DNA could be hair, it could be skin, it could be nails, it could be blood, it could be saliva. In this case, since the person had died 3 years ago, there was no saliva to get. We wasn't doing that. And I was not sure of the condition of the body. I was in for a treat, and not a rude awakening, but I was I have a newfound appreciation for our bodies as it decomposes. More importantly, when a body is not preserved or embalmed. So that was an experience in of itself. But being able to create multiple streams of income, being able to explore different avenues um, of income and businesses, I've been learning and I am learning a lot. And in my next video, I will break down my thoughts, my feelings, the sights, the smells, and my journey to collecting hair and nails from a person that had died 3 years ago and they were not embalmed. So the body was just naturally decaying on its own. And then also, I'll let you know how the person was buried. Um, So, if you appreciate my information, if you want to learn more about how you can create multiple streams of income based off of the skills that you have, then please feel free to hit me up, message me. I do respond to messages. You can comment below, um, interested, and I will be sure to get back to you. In the meantime, stay safe.